You always have a choice. I'm Brian Withers, empowerment coach, trainer, and author. Well, often we hear people say, I don't have a choice. I got to do this. I don't have a choice. And that may be true in the physical world where you're in the middle of circumstances and you got to make a choice on that basis that you got to take an action because there's a certain thing going on. But what you do have a choice of all of the time is your choice of thought. The way you think about that thing, you may not be able to change what's going on in the physical world in the next 5 minutes, but you certainly can change what's going on in your mind in the next minute. So although you may feel compelled to take a certain action, which will minimize a certain situation, path of least resistance, you still can choose the way you think about it as you do it. And that's very important because we don't want to be caught thinking we don't have a choice of thought, because if we think that, now we're really stuck in that energy, but we're not stuck in any life situation. We're just stuck in our mind with thoughts that keep manifesting in the same way. And if you change your thought, then you'll change what's going on in here gradually as the momentum changes. But why is it that we think that we don't have a choice? Well, we get into a pattern from when we're growing up. The things we hear around us, we see, they develop patterns of thinking which turn into beliefs. And then without realizing it, we're just sort of thinking that that's the way life is. And so we kind of become like this puppet in terms of the way that we think. We just keep thinking about the same old things in the same old way, and we don't challenge those thoughts, and we don't think there's different thoughts. And so we kind of live with those faulty beliefs. It's like living under that dark cloud that of thoughts that we can't seem to shake and get out of because we don't know where to go with it. And so that is why we want to know the creative process of asking, creating, allowing, manifest, receive. We want to know that cycle and all the elements that are in it. That's the knowledge of life, the creative process. And that breaks us free. That helps us to break free of that feeling that we're on a string, being controlled like a puppet and not even knowing it. So you want to be very strong and clear on this knowledge of life. And you can get a lot of that from my videos, of course, are always talking about this. That's different parts of it. Or if you want to get a more complete, direct approach to it, my book of life will give it to you. But you really want to have it, because you just can't do a good job of anything when you don't know how it works. You're just hacking your way through the best that you can, but without all of the way that it works, it's just really no way it's going to work out to your satisfaction all the time. Not like it's meant to, as we come here for joyous expansion as the creator of our reality. So we want to get more out of this kind of, feeling brought down by our thoughts, because we feel like we're in the physical world and we only have a certain choice of things that are in front of us physically, and only a certain way to think about them. And that keeps us in that loop where nothing changes, same manifestations. So we want to get our mind freed up, and we want to get into this where we're able to think different thoughts about the situation. Even though the physical situation is the same, we can start to think about it differently, because all of this creative process gives us all kinds of new ways to tell us that it's serving us, and how it's really all working out for us in the big picture. And so when we do that, we realize that, as I said, we may not change the circumstances in 5 minutes, but we can certainly change the way we think about it in 5 minutes. And we can get some different energy going such that we're in a good feeling place about it. Now it's the same, but we've changed something because before it was that way and we weren't feeling good about it. We were in some negative frame of mind about it. And so we were offering the same energy, and then it keeps coming back over and over and over again. But now we're in the same situation, but we've learned something new. We can think about it differently, how we can see how it's a positive in terms of how it's serving us. And once we change that energy, then we start to deactivate the faulty belief that actually causes it to manifest in our life. and then it shows up again. And so we do the same thing. We talk to it in a new way. We see it in a new way. We feel it differently. And it comes back again. And then we do the same thing. And it comes back again. But then one day, and usually in 90 days, you can make a big difference. You could see a change. All of a sudden, the energy, the new choice of thoughts means new energy to the law of attraction. And you can see this thing change. Now the energy, the physical world will catch up with the energy. So you got to change the energy first, and then the physical world will catch up as the momentum changes, as the momentum comes away from the faulty belief and into the new belief that you're creating as you respond each time. See, that's the key you really got to understand, because if you don't understand that, you think, oh, well, I've been thinking good, I've been understanding it vibrationally, all that stuff, and it's still the same. And you just got to realize, okay, I'm on my way. I'm changing it. I'm changing the energy every time. I'm changing the energy. And that means I'm deactivating the old. I'm activating the new. And one day, the physical world will change to match that. And you got to operate on that confidence. And if you do, you will get the change. And, that's the way that life works. That's why we're the creator of our reality, because we can make that energy change, which then causes a change in what's physically manifesting in our life. So we know this process from the many videos that I do, and it gives you all kinds of those new choices in terms of the way that you think about things. So let's take a quick look at things. So, if you have a relationship like this, at odds with each other, or if you have a collision in traffic, or if you have a health ailment issue, if your money flow is, let's say it's flowing in a way that feels restricted, lack to you, if your experience in traffic is this illustration here, what that means is you're offering that vibration. None of this stuff came to you by an accident or random happenings, luck or unluck or whatever you want to call it. It came to you because you've got a vibration going within you, a belief that is supporting these kinds of manifestations. And the law of attraction is just giving you that vibration back in these forms that represent that low vibration belief, faulty belief. But because of what I've said over here, we can start to we can take this creative process and we can understand how it works, and we can realize that, okay, I did bring those things to me by virtue of my vibration, those faulty beliefs that I have within me. So I take that on, that's mine, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to change my thoughts. I'm going to make a new choice. When I get in any of these situations, I'm going to choose a new way to think about my health. I'm going to choose a new way to think about the experience in traffic. I'm going to choose a new way to focus in my relationship. I'm going to choose a new way to think about money. So you've got a choice. So when you decide that, these things happen, and they're not going to change in the next 5 minutes. In fact, you're going to change the energy, and they're still not going to change. You're going to change the energy. You're going to talk about them different as they happen, and you're going to talk about them differently. You're going to think about them differently. And then the old momentum is still there, so they're still going to happen. All this stuff's still going to happen, and here you are. You're changing the way you're thinking. You're saying, I'm doing it. Every time it comes up, I'm got a new story. I understand it vibrationally. It's just vibrational feedback. It's just old momentum I had going on, but it's still dominant enough that it's causing the manifestation. But I keep talking about the new story, what I really want to see instead of this, that I accept it, that it just was my vibration. Nobody's doing anything to me. And I keep changing it, and there it is, and I change it. And then one day, you change it, and it is the new version. Now you're back to a loving relationship, a pleasant experience in traffic, a healthy body, an abundant flow of all material wealth. And it's because you decided this. You decided to do this. You made this choice, that no matter what the circumstance was, you were going to feel good around the clock, because you have this information of life now that shows you why it's very accurate to have good feeling thoughts about things that you don't like, because you understand the vibrationally and you understand the expansion that happens from that contrast. So that's the choice that you have. You always have a thought choice. In any minute, any moment, as things are happening, you can choose to think the same old way about them, or you can choose to think differently. So in the moment, you don't have a choice of the manifestation. It's already manifested. It's a manifestation. You can't change a manifestation. You can only change the energy so something different manifests to replace it. But that manifestation is a done deal. It's like chewed gum. It's already chewed. You can't put it back in and wrap it up. It's done. And so is a manifestation. It's just the result of energy that was offered. So you can't change it. And so there's no point in thinking about changing it. What you want to think about is the thoughts that you're going to change so that it manifests differently. That's what you're going to change. You're going to change the energy so that as it manifests next time, it's going to manifest differently. That's how it changes. You don't change it directly, you change it indirectly, because you change the energy, and the energy causes the change in the manifestation. That's the choice. That's where all your power is, in your choice of thought. Not in the choice about what's going on in the physical world, because that's already done. No sense arguing with anybody, no sense blaming, complaining, any about that stuff about the physical world. It all is the manifestation of energy. It's a done deal. Leave it alone, appreciate it, understand it caused expansion, get yourself focused positively, change the thoughts around it, and then as you continue to do that each time, day after day, then the manifestation changes. So you always have a choice, and that is a very, very important thing to realize about life. You have a choice when it comes to the thought, the way you think about things. That's where you have your choice. That's the most important choice you have, and you want to take full advantage of your ability, your power to make a choice in a different thought over the one that you've been thinking. You've been thinking the same old negative feeling thought about something, and that is what causes it to manifest over and over again. And then you interrupt that and you inject some new thinking, new thoughts about that situation, and then you can be sure that the new experience is on the way. And the physical world takes a little bit to catch up, but it will always catch up if you're consistent. All right, that's the video for today. Thanks for listening in. If you have any comments, leave them on the post, and enjoy your day.